Welcome back. We have Monique Bassmeyer joining us on the show from Abbott Wealth Management. Welcome back.
Thank you, Susan.
How's your Wednesday going?
Oh, perfectly
Good,
fine, yes.
Good. Just as we're talking about snow appearing on our mountains around us, a lot of snowbirds getting ready to fly south. And so we have a little bit of advice today from you, financial advice for people who head south for the winter.
Yeah, so more than, over 1 million Canadian, age 55 and up, will enjoy quite some nice weather in the U.S. Sunbelt states, Florida, Arizona, Texas, California, and, Mexico as well. Mm-hmm. But before you begin your journey, just do your homework too. Make sure that your stay is actually just, carefree, so you don't have to worry about anything.
I want to follow the flock south. Thank you very much. Not yet for me. Let's get into the next page. So we've got some tips from Monique.
Yes. So this was a picture that kind of looked appealing to me because of the number, 182 days. That's how many days you're allowed to stay in the U.S. during a visitor's visa. Mm-hmm. But the IRS actually uses the substantial presence formula to add up the number of days you've spent in the U.S. over a 3-year time span. So in general, a good rule of thumb is not to exceed the 120 days.
Of every year?
Every year, just to be on the safe side of it. Mm-hmm. So if you do meet the substantial presence test, then you would file for I have to read it.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a closer connection exception statement for aliens, better known as the snowbird filing or form number 808040.
Okay.
So this is the opportunity to prove to the U.S. Internal Revenue Agency that despite your lengthy visits, you maintain a closer connection to your Canadian homeland. And thus, you should be exempt from American tax requirements. So the connection that you then do establish is based on the location, your family, your affiliation with maybe still work, religion, politician, business activities, your driver's license, and also where you vote.
Okay.
So if we go to the next one is actually insurance, and there are a number of things to keep in mind. And before you leave, check your provincial health care provider and find out what the maximum would be from a coverage point of view in case if you were to admit in for an emergency. And that can be really costly. Mm-hmm.
And it's very smart to make sure you're fully covered.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So and again, also that 182 rule will come into play also from your healthcare provider.
Okay.
So make sure that you check that out and to stay exempt from tax purposes. Mm-hmm. If you do require medication, just bring along enough for that time frame that you will be spending in the U.S. But make sure, depends on how you're traveling, but make sure it's really clear and visible if the customs may look for it too.
Okay.
I mean,
well labeled.
Yeah, well labeled, and then at least it's easy to explain, and you probably have a doctor's notice with it as well that you
Absolutely.
need it.
Why take a chance?
And then the other part of it is medical cost. We all know it's very expensive in the U.S. So don't cut yourself short with travel insurance.
Travel insurance. Okay.
And then the last one is, I'm just skipping back from insurance. Sorry, that's my
still
mistake.
On health. Okay.
Yeah. It's actually your home insurance. Just check it out
when you're leaving home.
What the actual occupancy requirement will be, just in case if something were to happen, is your dwelling then still covered or fully covered?
Okay.
Yeah. So the next one is actually organize your finances. So set up online banking, pre-authorized debits from your bank account to pay for your bills. Check your expiry dates for your credit card too, and your debit card. Yeah. And let them know that that you will be away for a certain period of time, because otherwise you may get a blocked credit card that they think, some suspicious behavior on this credit card. Well, it's a safety feature,
happen.
But
it's good to phone and let them know I'm out of country for 4 months.
It's just not beneficial if you're there and need to deal with the hassle. Yes. So keep records is one of them, and I kind of wanted to suggest to have a border kit with you.
Yes.
And it may sound a little bit awkward, but a border kit would include your passport, maybe copies of your Canadian tax return, because that at least will prove that you are associated with Canada and that you're a tax-paying citizen. Canadian utilities like a gas or hydro bill, because that will show you again your affiliation with it, that you have a dwelling.
Okay.
And then proof of property ownership, even a mortgage statement. That will prove that too. And if you have already filed one, bring your Form 808040 with you. That would prove that, that too, just in case if they're asking for it or want to have an explanation regarding your stay. And keep a detailed calendar, especially for business people too, when you're leaving and entering the US. Because sometimes you may be in the US, but get back to Canada through a different country.
Sure.
And yeah, that track record is not maybe how it's supposed to be, but at least you have the proof that how you traveled.
Okay.
So these are kind of the little tidbits that I have for today. The other website that I came across is to check out is Canadian Snowbird Association, and it has over 70,000 members. And yeah, for a yearly membership, you can have access to all their timely information and everything from the exchange rate to bring your pets along across the border.
What is that website again?
That is snowbirds.org.
Snowbirds.org. How lucky for the people who have to organize these things. I'm a bit jealous, but it's good to do your homework, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Monique, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Susan.
You're so welcome. Questions for Abbott Wealth, information on the screen, abbottwealth.com. Back in 2 minutes. Stay with us.